Hello, 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 and welcome to a brand new episode of VollThrottle, where today we are covering episode 10 of Drag Race Germany Season 9. I can't believe we've made it this far. We're in double digits.
It's insane.
I am your host, Extra Extra, and joining us from the magical land of Märchens, Deutschland, Thomas.
How
you, baby?
I am amazing. Except for, actually, I'm not, because retail is a mess right now, but I'm good. I can't complain.
The holiday
How are
season
you?
is just getting started, so
Yeah.
I hate that it's already not great.
Yeah.
It's just gonna get worse.
But it's fun. How are you, though?
I'm good. It's kind of the last round of assignments and exams before we get this semester finished, and I can walk down the aisle and marry my diploma. So I'm just gonna hold my breath and hope that it gets here really quick.
Yes.
Okay.
My Daumen gedrückt.
Oh, thank you. Don't. Oh, not too hard.
No worries.
And first, before we dive in too deep, a short disclaimer, not to send any negativity or hate to any of the queens on this season. If you want to go drop them a like, or comment, or subscribe, please do that, but we want to lift these girls up. This week on the Weekly Onesie Watch, what a find. Is this even a onesie, or is this a two-piece?
I'm not sure, though.
It might be like an outfit. I don't care. It's all a onesie to me.
Yeah.
I love this blonde wig. I don't think I've seen her in hair like this.
No.
But
I love the... was it Yvonne who said, "Oh, look, Shireen David's back"? I was like,
yes! Clocked it. Love it. Lieben wir.
Yeah. Lieben wir. Yes.
So this week, once again, thank the stars, we are spared from a pointless mini challenge and delve straight into the Maxi-Challenge, where our girls, our top 4 little girlies, are paired up with a Drag Race superfan for a makeover challenge. I guess we kind of knew this was coming. They usually happen later in the season, and it is kind of a rite of passage in the Drag Race world. But this is a pretty diverse group of guys, too. There's 2 that are definitely on the younger side and 2 that are definitely on the older side. And, of course, right off the bat, you think that the younger, prettier ones are going to be much easier to put into drag. But there's always surprises, because who knows, what experience each of these guys has in drag. But I always approach this challenge with a little skepticism and shenanigans by production and whatnot. How do you feel about makeover challenges in general?
Well, I'm not a huge fan because I feel like they're always very messy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand that it's a skill that they want to check, and I do think that it's interesting to see, but I think this episode showed us again that, like, a lot of times these makeover challenges are just, like, kind of messy and...
Right. Well, for a challenge to feel simple and straightforward, you have to control as many variables as you can.
Yeah.
And in a lot of them, they can, like the materials used, or, they're just relying on themselves. But when you bring in another human element, like a makeover guest, there's such a huge variety and such a discrepancies in their skill levels, their presentation skills. Like, there's no fair way to do it. And so while it is a fun skill that makes great TV, and I love watching the challenge, the judging is just always unhinged, because, like, there is no real fair way to do it. So, yeah, either... you just kind of got to go with your gut as a judge, or follow, whatever storyline production is prioritizing at this point in the season. But yeah, this is just why I was a little skeptical coming into it, just like staying on my toes.
I don't remember which season it was, but like there was this, was it on season 4 with the guy that was like super like problematic and like low-key homophobic?
Oh yeah, like he was apparently on the show because he cheated on his girlfriend, and his girlfriend made him come on the show or she was going to leave him. This is the story that I heard. And so, yeah, that's how somebody that was like borderline homophobic and like should not have been there ended up on a makeover challenge. That was.
I mean, to be fair, like, I guess that's also kind of like out of the hands of production, but that's the reason why I just don't really like them.
But you want the queens to feel safe.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
People haven't been properly vetted. That's also a point of concern. But I was worried since the airing of last week's episode with the preview showing Yvonne like looking really jealous, and it was such a roller coaster for Yvonne today, because you could tell the first day of the challenge, she was just having a crappy day. You know, like it at this point you've got to be just exhausted. And if you don't feel good about a makeover challenge already, then once you know, start a morning and early in the morning you're dumped all this news and you don't immediately get the person that you want and you're stressed out and you've been here for weeks. Like I could tell that she was just having a really rough day. And
Yeah.
but they gave her some of the like shadiest little cuts and edits, like you know, Meta laughing and then showing her glaring over the shoulder. Like there are a couple just like Jin in the office moments, like where Yvonne clearly looks straight into the camera.
Yeah.
That's after Pandora and her superfan were like practicing their dance moves, and
Yeah.
Yvonne is just in the middle, just like what am I, chop liver here?
I gotta say, I mean, while I do think it was understandable why she felt the way that she felt, I was getting kind of tired of that storyline because I was like, yeah, okay, we get it. Like, you hate your partner, you hate being there right now, you're jealous of Meta and her super fan. Okay, okay. I mean, and I was so glad that they later on like talked about it.
I mean, everybody is allowed to be in their feelings and to have an off day every
Absolutely.
once in a while, and yeah, but as a storyline on the episode, it did kind of get old real quick, and I just hated to see Yvonne struggling because I love
Yeah.
her, and she's usually such, you know, just this bubbly, positive
Yeah.
personality, and so I hated to see her feeling that way. But the next day, she really bounced back, and you
Yeah.
know, as we'll
Of
see,
course.
she has a great performance, but it was a roller coaster emotionally.
Yeah. I was just kind of disappointed because I felt like if I was the guy working with her watching this episode, I would feel like crap.
Yeah.
I felt like the comments they made about him were so harsh. It made me really uncomfortable.
But that's another thing about a makeover challenge is whenever it doesn't go well or somebody gets judged more harshly for whatever reason, like it's really hard for them not to take that personally. And you know,
Yeah.
if somebody, I always like the makeover challenges where nobody ends up going home because I think that shields
Yeah.
the makeover ease from, you know, any guilty feelings that they may have caused someone to go home. Because on the last few seasons of, I think the US and maybe UK as well, nobody's ended up going home on the makeover challenges. And I always really liked that because
Yeah.
it already sucks enough to see your person being in the bottom and to not feel some kind of responsibility for that.
Yeah. I would feel so bad for them too, like because even though obviously it's a challenge for the queens, I would also feel responsible for it. Like I wouldn't be able to like shake the feeling that it's my fault.
Right. Oof. Well, we will come back to the girls here in a second, but first, let us give honor to our judging panel. I think Barbie looked incredible this week. Like this really elegant dress with this fascinating fascinator. Makeup obviously looked great as usual.
Amazing.
I will say I'm not a big fan of nude illusion on outfits. I mean, you can tell in this screenshot that it does disappear really well. Like this is probably some of the best nude illusion I've seen, and it does allow her to have this really dramatic low cut without, you know, showing anything off. But I just always am a little hesitant with nude illusion.
Yeah, I get that, but I think she still looks gorgeous. The makeup is on point as like as always. I really love the chest that they made with the makeup.
Yeah,
she looks gorgeous.
Yeah, no, absolutely. She must have a great team.
Yeah.
With her.
Oh my God, look at
Which
him.
the captain of that team is obviously Johnny.
Yes.
Once again, weird classic color scheme that I love so much. Yeah. And he had a rough episode too, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I think with the elimination hit him really hard. And yeah.
But look at that $1 million smile. I love the shirt.
And once again, I keep seeing people online hating on Johnny and Diane and saying that the judging panel is trash. And like
how?
It frustrates me so much because like they're attacking the people themselves. And I'm like, I've said it before, I'll say it again. These people are playing a role on a TV show. And if you don't like how they're doing it, that's one thing. But coming for them who they are as people is just not appropriate.
Yeah.
At all.
No, that's a big no-no.
And you can feel your feelings and stuff, but yeah, just stop these ad hominem attacks. Especially when it's a ray of sunshine like Diane.
Yeah, like I don't understand. How can you hate on these two people? Like they're so cute.
And it looks like her turquoise shoulder animal has spread to both shoulders this week. but did not block the
Turquoise
cleavage
shoulder
at
animal.
all because the girls are still out and proud.
Yes.
I just love this judging panel together. And although Estefania was not here this week, oh my gosh, Sasha Velour was here
Hello?
out of nowhere. I did not expect this, and I
Me
did not know
neither.
that she spoke German either. Her German was better than Diane's.
I think I remember somehow like didn't she mention on her season that like her mom is German or something?
Perhaps, yeah, she may have.
I remember something like knowing that she has like it's like of German descent or something, but I didn't think that she could actually like speak German.
Honestly, when I think about it, it doesn't surprise me that much because that's
No.
totally in line with
Yeah.
Sasha's personality.
I mean, yeah, she's gorgeous. It was so exciting to see her there. I really love when they bring queens from past seasons as a guest judge because, like, especially winners, like, obviously they can have a lot of actually good feedback because they've been there.
Yeah, and they have won the thing.
Yeah.
Especially somebody like Sasha, like she has such good insight and such good taste, and
She does.
Yeah, like we already know her, and so we trust her, and are just happy to see her on our screen again.
Some of the critiques that like I disagree with, like I think Johnny didn't really like some of the outfits on the runway.
Yeah,
and Sasha was like, "No, this is amazing," and I was like, "Yes, thank you. It really is. Like, this is great."
Well, especially this kind of challenge. Like these looks can be interpreted a lot of different ways, and so it's nice that somebody like Sasha is not afraid to be like, "Well, I felt entirely different about it." Like no shade. But that it makes me feel like that's a more balanced judging panel, and there's a nice diversity of opinion. But that also, Okay, so diving into our girls and their girls, Kelly was paired up with Fernando, and they presented themselves as Kelly and Nelly Heelton Westwood. which is hilarious. And I didn't understand it just seeing them in the workroom. They seem to gel really well. I mean, Kelly's easy to get along with, but they seem similar height, similar build, and we're both really exuberant. Like Fernando is a little understated, but he obviously had a lot of sass. And like when they had a walk off, he like already knew how to strut in some thigh high boots. It's like okay,
he ate them up.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the runway, I can see the Westwood much more in the runway.
Yeah.
I think the biggest critique of this was that it not that it was too much Dirndl, but that like it was so unedited Dirndl. Like it without the the edits in the skirt and the adding of the neck piece, and you can tell it's a little bit like around the shoulders. There are a lot of edits made to it, but you can tell that it was a Dirndl that they edited rather than like a new construction or a serious redesign.
Also, I felt like she was trying to go for this avant-garde punk look, like punk but chic, but I feel like punk is messy, but this is just a mess, like
Well, this is the second time that Kelly's tried to go for a punk look, like the design challenge look, which was like more like a lingerie with puffballs on it. So I think when she goes for punk, she doesn't quite hit the mark that she's going for. I do think they look good. I do think these outfits are interesting and they pair well together. The makeup on Nelly looks good, but there's something off about it. I feel like the eyes need to be bigger. Something about the eyes kind of disappear for me. And when Kelly's also painting on a really different skin tone than she's used to painting on. So the fact that she looks this good, I am already impressed. And I can't put my finger on exactly what it is.
I mean, we've said it in previous episodes, but like obviously what they're doing is still like very high up there, and I would never ever be able to do any of this.
You know what I think it is? Eyebrows. It looks like she doesn't have eyebrows.
Oh yeah.
So if she had a brow, because the makeup around the eyes is great. Like it's right. in typical Kelly fashion, but maybe it's just the lighting, or maybe it's the type of brow. They did like more of a subtle, but I feel like a dramatic brow would really make her look like a drag queen.
Yeah.
So I'll give Kelly a net in this challenge, especially compared to the other queens. I do love these looks, but I just feel like in the top 4 for the second week in a row and fighting for that top 3 spot, I would be pulling out all the stops and really trying to wow.
But hey, I mean, at least you can see the dirndl very well.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why there are the complaints in some of the other looks about too little dirndl. This is almost too much.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, I agree with you. It's a net look, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And next, Yvonne and Cher Nightstand.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's so funny because, I mean, for one, it sounds like Cher, which is, kind of what she was going for. And the fact that a nightstand is furniture, Cher.
I love
hilarious. It's so silly. And
it's so Yvonne.
I live.
Yeah.
So yeah, Yvonne is paired up with Ralph, who is a fellow Berlin man, which I think is part of why Meta paired them up, but also because they are a very similar height, similar build.
Yeah.
There are a lot of advantages to that. I don't think Yvonne really could see that right off the bat because she was not having the best day, but I was happy to see her come back the next day and really work on, an appropriate storyline because this guy obviously did not have a lot of experience walking in heels or with drag at all. So I was glad to see her kind of turn it around because they came up with a really spectacular idea. Like, if your partner is going to be awkward and not going to walk very well, and you're not even going to be able to fake it in a way that would be very funny, they just turned it into a nerdy little sister trying out drag for the first time story, which is a great idea.
It was so smart, and they both looked amazing.
Thomas, I was giggling so hard when she came out because all I see when I look at Cher is Robbie Turner.
Oh my God, you're right. I couldn't put a finger on it the whole time, but yes.
Oh, it was tickling me to no end.
Oh my God, she does look like Robbie Turner.
And Yvonne looks great too. I mean, she's giving a bigger wig than the little pussycat wig, so yes. I love that. Her makeup looks great as always, and this is kind of that middle ground of dirndl that we were looking for.
Yes.
She kept the dirndl top, but made it really slutty. And I mean, I don't know how appropriate cow print is with a dirndl, but it makes me think of Bavarian countryside farms. And she's got the argyle of the skirt matching the top of Cher's look, and with the transformation that she gets to kind of go through on the runway, it was such a cohesive storyline from beginning to end, and the way she did it was perfect.
Yes, I was just like, this is amazing. And even without the reveals, even without the things that she tears off, right, where she in the end reveals this zebra print.
Yeah.
All of the details, all of the accessories, the sleeves and the scarf and the glasses, they're also black and white. So this is amazing. This is definitely a 10 out of 10.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't really this, especially since she was so down and kind of mopey the day before.
No, I mean, I gotta say, this was every kid in school that you hate, where it's where they're like, oh my God, I really don't feel good about this test. Oh my God, I'm not gonna do well on this exam. Oh my God, I feel like I haven't studied enough. And then they ace it, and you're like, bitch, you're literally top of the class. Who are you?
It's like Ginger Minge in dancing challenges.
Yes.
She always looks a hot mess before, and then in the main challenge, she just slays every time. Yeah, I think that landing on the story decision kind of energized them both and gave the performance focus, and so I think that she was really able to bring it around.
Yeah.
I honestly wasn't sure how the judges were going to receive it. I was cackling and having a great time, but especially with people like Meta and Pandora on the runway that serve these super high concept every week, I just assume that they're going to look at Yvonne's looks and think that it's less polished, even though this is kind of nail on the head for this category.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She looks, I mean, this is just, I can't.
It's ice. I'm definitely going to give it ice.
It's definitely ice. Which I think is so important, is I feel like whenever they have these makeover challenges, the most important thing should be that the superfans are elevated and look amazing and have a lot of fun. And I feel like she really did that. And Ralph looks like he's having a great time.
That's a great point. She really made Cher the focus of the runway.
Yeah.
And while Yvonne looked great, you know, and
Yeah.
inevitably kind of looked better, at least as in terms of like a beautiful drag queen. She made sure that chair was the center of attention, and
Yes.
I think that really helped her to have a good time, and you
Yeah.
know, and then yeah, knowing that your person won, I hope that chair is
Yeah.
feeling like a high chair.
Yes.
That was terrible.
Yes. But
Moving
that's
on.
fine.
So, oh, okay. So Meta was paired up with Gabrielle, who I think is originally from Austria. So obviously was a first pick for Meta. And I think Gabrielle's last name is Toad, which is death, which is great. Was that it? Was it the last name?
I think so, yeah. I think they mentioned it somehow that his name is literally Toad.
So
Like,
yeah,
okay.
Metamorkid welcomed him into the house of Meta by naming him Metamor Toad,
Yeah.
which is pretty great. And yeah, as Meta had her pick of the litter, and I think she knew right off the bat that she wanted this guy. And it's funny because yeah, you want like the ones that look similar to you but are handsome and look like they'd be easy to paint. But it was kind of hilarious in how these tables turn in some of the episodes that I think she did a good job of painting her and making her look like a part of the Meta family.
Yeah.
But like something about either her face or the paint job on it is just like getting real severe up in here. And it may have been the way that she was like presenting herself and like holding like her jaw or her mouth or like the rigidness in it that came across as much more masculine than I would have imagined at the beginning of the episode. But I do think that they both look great. I mean, Meta looks incredible as always.
Yeah.
But as you would imagine, the main critique is that there is so little Dirndl here.
There's like where is it? Where?
Maybe in the white ruffles.
Yeah.
Maybe that could have come from it, but it's not even the recognizable part. It's not like the gingham that you would recognize or the
literally
ribbon.
the only part of a dirndl I recognize in this picture is like the how do you call it, like the ass cape for Metamorkid.
Oh, you're right. It's a peplum.
Yeah,
that's a really long peplum, but
yeah,
I would call it.
Like that's literally the only part of a. I really don't understand what was going through Meta's head here.
You know, she acknowledged that she made a choice, you know, but at the same time, yeah, that was the whole challenge, was to make over a dirndl, and you know, oh, and yeah, the part that was recognizably dirndl, she takes off.
Yeah,
which I mean, the look-see from behind is very meta. And I guess kind of dirndly too, you know, with the crisscross of the ribbons.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
not enough.
No, definitely not enough. That was a choice.
I don't know what she was thinking. Like maybe she thought that she could get away with it because she's, you know, she's been doing so well.
Yeah, but that's no reason, especially like when it's like the last episode before the finale.
Yeah.
Why would you do a risky move like this? I truly don't understand.
I mean, there's a lot of parts to this. I mean, you know, Barbie described it to them at the beginning of the episode as like a three-pronged challenge. You know, it's a group challenge, a makeover challenge, and a performance challenge. Like, I can imagine it being a little bit difficult to prioritize all of those elements.
Yeah.
Especially, when that's, I feel like the costume and the design part of that is a fourth part of the challenge, you know? Like,
yeah, because like what I don't understand is like Meta has shown us before that she does amazing in construction challenges.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I don't understand why she just. I mean, we don't have the full picture, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
But I truly don't understand why. Because the only reason I could understand going for this move is that she struggled with the deconstruction and then reconstruction of the dirndl. But it's Meta we're talking about because
Well, that's the thing. Like Meta and Pandora both seem to have like the strongest negative reactions to seeing the dirndls. Like they were both like garbage. Like these are awful. Like I literally think that she just hates it, or maybe has some just kind of trigger with it that like I cannot work with this material. And if that's the case, then work, girl. Like do what you need to do. If like you just cannot even, then don't even. But you're gonna lip sync if that's the case.
Yeah.
Now Pandora took first I'll give Meta a net. I mean they look great, but I mean missing the brief like that is I just can't give it a heist.
I gotta admit, it looks amazing, but sorry, that's the choice for me because it missed the challenge by so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Matt. I love you, but no.
Hey, it's absolutely fair. That's why it was interesting to see Pandora take such a different approach. She obviously hated the dirndl as well, but she really embraced the materials, as
Yes.
they say, and came up with also a great storyline that totally worked with her and her partner.
Yes.
I was really impressed. Pandora was partnered with Francisco. So they decided to take, okay, they had a yellow dirndl and an orange dirndl, and she hates it so much that she was like, well, let's just turn this into a clown act. And so
Yeah.
they both made versions of Pennywise, Pandywise, and Frannywise. Now, I think
Amazing.
she also got somebody that everyone thought would be an easier drag option because he's got this long,
Yeah.
luscious hair. It's obviously super sassy to begin with, and their looks turned out so good. I mean, it's obviously very dirndly because you've
Yeah.
got tons of gingham and you've got the trim and the frills, but it is constructed in a completely different way that does not read immediately as dirndl and has
No.
so much overlap with a clown look that it's immediately obvious. And like with the
Yeah.
matching wigs, I don't know if she just had these wigs or if these were provided, but I mean, they look great, and her intense makeup really brings that dark edge to it and really ties the two looks together.
Yeah.
And this guy's also like an acrobat and like doing
Yeah.
all like kinds of gymnastic stuff, and so they incorporated that into their runway walk. Like Yvonne's, I thought it was a top-notch idea, A, and B, a stellar runway performance from the
Yes.
moment they walked out to when
Both
they,
of them.
yeah, literally.
They were both amazing. I felt like her idea to turn it into a clown costume was so clever because you can see that, like, she literally, like, she even said it herself that she used most of the material that the journals gave her.
Yeah,
And
that's
I think it
impressive.
was an amazing idea. Um, yeah, maybe it does look kind of messy here and there, but like like the idea itself was like, I feel like great. The performance was great. The guys seemed to have so much fun. For me, it was really close between her and Yvonne.
Yvonne.
Like
Yeah.
they both did amazing.
Like as far as a makeover challenge, that's about as much of a success as you can have.
Yeah,
You know, for the looks to work together and to look great, and for your partner to be so engaged
yeah,
and to be such an essential part of the performance. And they both did that in really different ways. It's like Pandora played on her partner's strengths while Yvonne played off of her partner's weaknesses,
yes,
which I think is such a great contrast.
yeah,
And yeah, it did kind of end up being obvious who was the top two and who was the bottom two this
yeah,
week. But I
absolutely.
love how different both of those successes and both of the weaker ones ended up being.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, heist, 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 heist.
yeah, definitely heist, super heist.
Okay, so we're down to the nitty gritty of these looks, and as we said, it was a little bit obvious. I love how different they all look.
Like look at the like Pandora looks so, like what like what?
Well, just in case she has the lip sync, she's done away with the bottom part. So
Yeah,
I love it. She looks even more like a mix between a little girl and an evil clown.
yeah. No, it's amazing.
Oh, I know some people are really freaked out by clowns. I love it.
Yeah,
So Yvonne and Pandora definitely excelled the most in this challenge. So I was really pleased when they announced that Yvonne was the winner.
yeah,
You know, she has worked really hard, and it was such a roller coaster for her this week that I'm glad she worked hard enough to turn it around that she
yeah.
was rewarded for it with a badge. And this is only her second one. And the first one was so long coming that, you know, I was just so happy for her.
Yeah. I'm also super happy for her. Like she deserved it. Both outfits and storylines were amazing, and both performances were amazing. I do agree with Yvonne that compared to the other super fans, hers was probably a bit harder to work with, as in like he seemed like he didn't seem confident to walk in heels or to do like an extravagant performance like the other queens might have done.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I feel like she did have it a bit harder and still excelled at the challenge
Yeah.
in comparison to like the other queens. In my eyes, both Pandora and Yvonne would have deserved it. I am very happy to see that Yvonne got the badge and the win. And yeah, no, she's amazing.
Well, and I didn't figure Pandora would have to lip sync, so not surprising that Kelly and Meta are in the bottom. I I didn't mentally prepare for this lip sync. I didn't really think about the possibilities and what I thought or wanted to happen because I love both Kelly and Meta so much. And
Yeah.
I mean, since the beginning of this season, I'd always seen Kelly going all the way, and it wasn't until the last week or two that I'd kind of entertained the possibility that she may not make it just because everybody
Yeah.
else was being so strong. With somebody like Pandora, it kind of depends on what the challenge is that week,
Yes.
and she was saved last week by no one going
Yeah.
home, but this was definitely a challenge she excelled in. So I I knew that Meta gives strong lip syncs, but I knew that Kelly would not take it lying down.
Yeah. No.
So I was kind of on the edge of my seat because I knew that it's one of those that kind of can go either way. Meta's been so
Yeah.
strong lately that I didn't know if production would, risk sending someone home that so many fans are such, stands
Yeah.
of.
No. The thing is, like, Meta has been consistently doing very well and like being in the top three a lot of episodes, at least being safe, while Kelly has been kind of like wobbly.
Is this her first time lip syncing?
I think this is her, if I remember correctly, it's her first time lip syncing for her life. Yeah.
Wow.
Last week was the lip sync for the win. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time lip syncing for her life.
Oh,
And I
because
mean,
last week was the first time we had seen either of them lip sync.
yes.
Remember? Yeah, so this is the first time that Meta's having to, yeah, and for it to be like the last regular episode, I
Yeah.
think that speaks to her consistency
Yeah.
uh, throughout the competition.
Yeah.
It was a lip sync to Heart to Break by Kim Petras, which I will complain that it was not a German song and also a song that we have seen a lip sync to before, but I love this fucking song. This is
Yeah.
one of like as far as like pop gems go, like this is such a clean,
Yeah.
strong, catchy ass song that
Yeah.
I always have in my head. But it's not terribly exciting for lip syncs, but I thought that these girls did a good job of hamming it up. Honestly, my favorite thing is that Pandora's in the back of all of these pictures. And I tried to get just screenshots where Pandora's like waiting in the back with these balloons.
Yeah.
Had me cracking up. But Meta
can't.
was serving a lot of comedy. And they interacted a lot, which I love. Like you can tell that all these queens get along so well.
Yeah.
Which also made me think that no one really cared at the end of the day who goes home. Like, sure, it'd be great to, go to the finale and get the crown, but, you made it the whole season. You're going to be in every episode.
Yeah.
And I think they were really just having fun.
Yeah. This was actually one of the few seasons that I've watched where it actually felt like they were having a really organic and actual friendship going on.
Yeah.
Like I felt like they are really getting along so well with each other, and they all feel so much love for each other. As at least that's what it comes off as. I mean, I don't know them, but yeah.
Right.
No, I had a blast. It was a great lip sync. They both seemed to have so much fun. They were doing amazing.
Yeah. No, there were a lot of bits and a lot of moments that were
Yeah.
just so funny. And
Yeah.
yeah, and Kelly did a great job. She really served some serious drama. Meta was serving more like the quirky, weird
Yeah.
comedy that she does so well. So yeah, afterwards, Barbie announces that Meta, Shantae, she stays, and Kelly sashays away. Which, as much as I hate it, I'm so happy for her. Like she did
Yeah.
such a stellar job. She made us laugh consistently and like hard. Like
Yeah.
she's such a clever queen and has such integrity and just carries herself with
Yes.
such royalty. I
Yeah.
really wish nothing but the best for her, and I really, really hope I get to see her perform live.
Yeah, same. She's just like one of those queens that's like, how like RuPaul always like features like love, and like if you can't love yourself, you can like how in the hell you gonna love somebody else. I feel like with Kelly, she really lives that. Like she really is like, love yourself, stay true to yourself, be yourself, and it really feels genuine. And she seems like she's such a kind person. I am so happy that she got that far. And I think she suffers from the fourth place curse, where like usually the fourth place queens, they're the ones that you love the most, but like they just don't have the skill to like quite go that far. So, but
No,
yeah, I
you're
felt like
so
it was
right.
the fair judgment to let her go. But it it was really heartbreaking to see. Everyone on the set was like, seemed like, especially Johnny. Oh my god, Johnny looked like he was gonna die.
Yeah. When you can tell that Johnny has a really special connection with Kelly.
Yeah,
especially as people of color on this cast. Like, he understood what she was bringing to the runway in a way that I feel like everybody else, couldn't really. And yeah, when he gets upset like that, it looks like he is about to break inside. And I hated that so much.
Me too.
But I think you're right. I think that Kelly is just kind of the embodiment of loving yourself and living authentically.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we got to see that.
Oh yeah.
And just how like in touch with her emotions and how she just lives with her heart on her sleeve. And oh man,
she's definitely leaving as a winner. So
yeah.
like,
and she is a prime candidate for All Stars. I mean, Global All Stars come through.
Yes, for real.
Wow. Well, we are at that point where there is only a reunion and a finale left.
Hello?
Which is pretty wild. I assume that they will crown a Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be Miss Congeniality?
It's going to be Kelly.
Yeah, that was my first inclination.
There's like I feel like there's no other way. Like,
but I feel like the way they do it, I think it really tells us a lot about what happens behind the scenes. When the cameras aren't on, like how people actually are. So I'd be curious to know if for some reason somebody like Barbecue or like Victoria or somebody, just when cameras are off, were just always super nice and pleasant to be around. Like, I would totally expect somebody like Kelly to get it, but I wouldn't be totally surprised if it was like somebody unexpected that we just really didn't get to know very well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but
it's probably going to be
Kelly. Yeah. I mean, I feel like she's one of those queens that like rarely has there ever been a queen on the show that's been so lovable. So yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how we kind of take a look back at the season and which moments they decide to bring up, and what the early outs have to say. I'm excited to see them all again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for joining us again this week for episode 10 of Drag Race Germany Season 1. Thomas, thank you for being here, as always.
Thank you for having me.
You're just a little ray of sunshine in my life.
No, you are. I can't believe we're almost done with this. This is crazy.
And life's gonna go back to normal? I don't even remember what it was like before Drag Race Germany. Before Barbie? We'll never go back.
No. I want Barbie as the host on every season of Drag Race.
For real. Just let her take that. Well, join us here next week, same time, same place, as we discuss the reunion of Drag Race Germany. Have a great week. Bye!